punishment in the U.S. Over 2/3 of the countries in the world have now abolished the death penalty in law or practice. Capital punishment, or the death penalty, is a punishment of a crime by execution. Such extreme sentences are awarded for very serious crimes where the offender is considered to be an ongoing danger to society. Some early accounts include King Henry VIII in the 1500s, who famously executed some of his wives by form of beheading. A second example would be Captain George Kendall of the Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. He was executed by a firing squad for allegedly spying for the Spanish government. The third example would be the Salem witch trials of the 1600s, where women were hung for being accused of witchcraft and satanic rituals. Some historical punishments include beheading, crushing of the body, usually by extreme force, historically by elephants; dismemberment, where the limbs were taken out of the body; death by boiling; and blowing of the gun, where the victim was tied to the mouth of the cannon and the cannon was then fired. Some modern punishments include hanging, firing squads, gas chambers, electrocution, and lethal injections, where typically 3 drugs, barbiturate, paralytic, and potassium solution, is injected, causing immediate death. Some of the crimes involved with capital punishment include, but aren't limited to, first-degree murder, where premeditated or thought-out murder was committed; murder with special circumstances, such as of a police officer or with a gun; terrorism; espionage, where secret or important information is given without permission of the holder of the information. These are the highest and the most dangerous crimes one can commit, and if taken into custody, no bail will be allowed. Now, going to some of the graphs, you can see that if given the opportunity, 33% of the inmates will choose death penalty to anything else out there. It's going to be 39% life without parole, or 13% life with parole. Also, the U.S. death sentences have gone up and down throughout the years, with the lowest being 50 deaths a year to the highest being 350 deaths a year. There arises the question, is it constitutional? About 40 years ago, in the case of Furman versus Georgia, the U.S. Supreme Court considered whether the death penalty violated the 8th Amendment prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. The court explained that the lack of uniform standards for the application of the death penalty resulted in arbitrary and discriminatory sentencing, violating the 8th Amendment prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. The death penalty was thus rendered unconstitutional. In response to this decision, the state modified their death penalty to accommodate the concerns of the court, and the death penalty is applied these new statutes today. Appeals can be requested if the person feels he or she was falsely convicted or given an unfair trial. The 14th Amendment has helped to save the lives of innocent people on death row in the U.S. Appeal courts are set up to rule on whether the trial was fair, in the sense that the defendant received due process of the law. They are not, however, set up to decide whether the convicted person was actually innocent, showing that the due process rights of someone on death row have been violated and has often been the only way to save them. Reflecting back on everything said today leaves me with 2 questions. Would you want this as your last resort, or would you consider the consequences of your actions? As you think about that, also consider the words from the 1968 movie Barbella's. A life without cause is a life without effect. Thank you.